So the purpose of this is to try to do a demo in 1 hour, but I will go very quickly through some of these slides to kind of introduce some of these concepts. I will try to go through them pretty briefly. So I would like to talk about the process, like from the moment you submit your request to submit data to how you start a new data set. So Rob just showed us that form that we have online. You go to submit data, you enter some very basic information, something that shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. We get that form, okay? Once we get that form is also shared with NIDCR, and when we are ready to, we say that we want to get your data. What will happen is that you will get an email, okay, with two things. One is going to say that it will have a link to a page in Globus where you join the group that controls the access to your project, because everything in FaceBase it has a strict privacy control, so that only the people in the group for a certain research team, or either yourself or someone that works with you, can access the data and can edit the data and can make changes to the data. Nobody else can do that. Data becomes publicly available once it's shared, once it's released, but only you can edit that data, modify that data, and only you can see out that data before it gets released. So that's very important. I want to make sure that you basically have full control on who sees your data and who can do things with your data. If you're not ready to release it, no one's going to be able to see anything, any information that you enter in FaceBase. The second thing that you get in that email is going to tell you that we would like to get a Zoom call, offer you to have a 1 hour Zoom call where we basically give a tutorial, kind of like what we're going to go through now, but we'll also discuss the characteristics of your data to see how to discuss how we think you should organize your data in order to share it in FaceBase. So that's very much, so once you get through that email, then you will go to, and you join the global group to that provide you access. You will go to FaceBase, you will try to find your project in FaceBase, and that's a kind of, once you get into your project, you'll be able to go to the dataset section, click Add Records, and start your dataset. We'll go through that process right now, but first I want to show you a little bit how this email that you're going to receive looks like. So we're going to tell you that, we created a new FaceBase project. In this case, I'm going to use a FaceBase demo. So it will give you the information where it's located, but it will give you this, it will give you this, let me get out of here so I can copy it will give you this link to the project. And let me show you very briefly what will happen. So what you will do, you will go to that page, and it will direct you to this page has the capability for you to join the group that controls the access. And once you get to that page, you have basically two ways of authenticating. One is looking at your organization. So for example, if you are in USC, you start University of Southern California, you find the University of whatever university you're at, and you log in with your university credentials. I typically use the Globus ID. That's another way of doing it, but we prefer if you use your organization, but I'm just more used to use this one for purposes. So I want to use one of my users, and you will see that once you get there, you will see an option to join this group. You see this link here. So once you click join this group, we will get notified. We add you to the group, and then you will get an email saying now you're part of the group, and now you're ready to go. You're ready to start working in your projects. So let me go back to the slides. Okay, so a lot of people get confused with that, and like in everything, if you get confused with that and something doesn't work, you send us an email. Now let me tell you a little bit more about things that have been going on with, I don't know what I'm doing here. I want to press this. So many of you probably not familiar with FaceBase before, but something will be going on lately is to try to do some changes to streamline the way people share the data. Over the year, we found that people found some things a little bit confusing. So we actually had a new evolved data model that we believe makes these things much simpler. We hope so. This has allowed us to sort of unify the platform to support all the different strategies for different types of data set scenarios, from the very simple data set where you have only a few files and a few biosamples to a more complex, large data sets to control access data. So we can pretty much do everything now. Before we have some like human subject data was a completely different path, a completely different way of submitting your data. Now we have integrated everything, and it should pretty much look all the same. All these operations, you can either do it in a fully web-based, self-curated mechanism with a strict privacy control, like we just discussed, using our UIs that allows batch editing and cloning and etc. Or you can use some of the tools that we provide to upload the data in batch, and we also have everything is fully available through web service APIs that can be used for batch data uploads and data curation. So all these, there are different ways of doing things, but all using the same platform. We believe is way more flexible. And then all that, once you have your data uploaded to FaceBase, we have these data processing pipelines and visualizations that can help improve the quality of your data sets. So, talk a little bit more about the different strategies that we can use. For example, in the most basic case, let's say someone has a small data set that has, a few files and a few biosamples, very simple type of thing. Then you can just very easily, you go online, you log in, you find your project, you create your data set, and just using your browser, you can enter a few characteristics of your data, and you directly upload your files from your machine, and you should be pretty much done with the process. Now, if your data set is a little bit more complex, that we see more and more, let's say you have hundreds of files that correspond to hundreds of biosamples that involve different types of experiments, like if you have images and you have sequencing and all these kind of things, then we provide sort of a hybrid strategy where you can use your browser to do a lot of the data entry and metadata entry. And then we provide this tool that is very robust, that works on all platforms, that allows you to basically upload all your files in batch. So basically, we have streamlined the process to the point where you basically create a folder in your machine, you drop all your files in that folder, you upload all those files using this tool in a very robust way, meaning that this uploader will do consistency checking. So every file that succeeds, you know that the exact copy of your file was uploaded. If it fails, we will see the tool later, but if it fails, you will see that will give you detailed information you can share with us anyway. So basically that will allow you to upload all your files in batch. And then using the browser, again, you can associate this each of these files to the corresponding biosamples that you created using the browser. And then, again, you're done with that. And also, we support more more complex scenarios where you will have, for example, clinical human data, where we basically have a continuous sharing, where we not probably live continuous sharing, but you will be uploading data at fixed intervals as they came and becoming available, the data becomes available out of your hospital or something like that. Then we can combine all these tools. We have combined the browser usage with the tools that we provide, together with our web-based APIs that will allow you to programmatically do these data uploads. So I think that just to make this a little bit more concrete, just in terms of think about what the process of creating these data sets is in FaceBase, it's basically three main steps. The first step is the conceptualization, and this is something that we go a lot when we do this 1 hour tutorial, which is basically we try to discuss what are the files that you're trying to share, how many biosamples, what are the biosamples that these data files are actually related to, or in case of human data or clinical data, we'll think about the participants and visits instead of biosamples, to how many type of experiments you perform on these biosamples or patients. So that kind of allows you to conceptualize or organize the data that you're going to share. Then you go through the second step, which is the data set curation and data upload, where you go to FaceBase, you create the data set, you create the experiments, you create the biosample, and these are basically the steps that define your metadata and the protocol. So everything in a way we're trying to do is describe the data. We don't want data that gets uploaded to our site that it has no meaning because there's no metadata or characteristics associated to that. So we want to try to capture the information about that data, and that's entered through this metadata of the biosamples and the protocols that describe what kind of process, basically the experiments or the process. So basically it's data, metadata, and processes what we're trying to capture in the most efficient way. Then you upload these data files, and then you associate these files to the corresponding biosample and experiment. Basically associate the data to the metadata and the description of how the experiments were conducted. And then at the end, we do a data set review where we make sure that you have all the elements that we require. And then it's your decision whether you're ready to do a public release of the data set or embargo it to wait for a publication.